One of Korea's biggest celebrations of genre cinema is back. The 30th Bucheon International Fantastic Film Festival, or BIFAN, officially opened on Thursday in the city of Bucheon in Gyeonggi-do Province, not far from Seoul. Bucheon itself is known as a city rich in film, animation, and comics, making it the perfect home for this iconic festival. Today, we'll take a closer look at BIFAN's 30th anniversary and some of the biggest Korean film news coming this July. And we're going to do that with professor and filmmaker Jae Soh from the Seoul Institute of the Arts. Welcome back, Professor Soh.
Hello, Professor.
Nice to be back.
All right, and you are actually back from Bucheon. I guess you were at the opening ceremony yesterday. So first and foremost, as you attended it, what was the atmosphere like and what stood out to you?
Well, I think BIFAN is my favorite festival.
Oh.
I showed my movie there, so I'm kind of biased. But also just the fact that it's the largest genre film festival. So, primarily it's horror movies, as I think you like zombies.
Yes.
And sci-fi movies, fantasy. And so basically what I found was, I sort of caught the end of the red carpet where all the stars were coming out. And I saw Fan Bingbing, who's kind of featured as an award thing. And then she's in the opening movie as well. And then I even saw Lee Byung-hun.
Wow.
And then Isabelle Huppert. So I was kind of starstruck. But I could definitely feel this year the atmosphere was just like, the scale of it was just big because it's the 30th anniversary of the festival. And I just felt like, the scale of it was like something like there's like 321 films this year from, 50 countries. And they have 93 world premieres, which is huge for, a domestic film festival to have like these new filmmakers. So to me, I just love the atmosphere. The city of Bucheon is just really lively. And the opening act usually happens, in a sporting event. So it just felt just like a grand in scale. And I'm really looking forward to it. And the opening night movie was it's called Blades of the Guardian by director Woo Ping. And this has Fan Bingbing in it and Jet Li. So it's just, if you want to visit and just enjoy a festival that's like really for the people, and then genre movies have been sort of in the past sort of seen as not as exciting as, for a festival. It's usually like some sort of like really great director that made a new film or an art house film. But this festival really kind of put genre films on the map and really said that, hey, it's okay to be commercially successs It still has a lot of stuff. And then, people love zombies in the summer. So
Of course.
It's interesting to see that such a great director like yourself is still starstruck when they see the stars.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But yes, we've talked about how this is Asia's, leading genre film festivals. You've even, like you said, put your film into it. But looking back, which director or film first comes to mind to you? And what do you think has been BIFAN's greatest contribution to the film industry?
Well, I don't remember the exact date, but I went to see it, I think, in the early 2003. And I can't help but mention director Chang Jun-han's Save the Green Planet, which was actually a commercial failure, but it became a cult film. And this year 26 is interesting because they finally remade this movie. It was such a cult hit after the fact that it was a commercial sort of like sort of a dud. And it's a movie called Begonia, directed by Lanthimos, with Emma Stone in it. So they remade this kind of cult Korean movie. So I think of him, and then I think of another horror film called Gyeonggi-do, The Haunted Asylum. Right. And these are movies that, sort of the festival kind of procured from the beginning. It's like both, like one wasn't a commercial hit, but Gyeonggi-do was a big hit. And I think it started to really change sort of the way the public was looking at horror films. And, with Train to Busan, as a big fan of that, these films are sort of found a home where they can celebrate themselves. A lot of times critics kind of laugh at these genre films as being sort of too commercial or, basically not as arty. But I find that a lot of these genre movies, what they tackle also is societal anxieties. Like zombie movies are about basically our society's full of zombies, I think, And And so it's just a way to really sort of explore that. And I think this year, BIFAN really did a good job. And their motto is new era, new skin, which was kind of interesting too. They have a really fantastic sort of trailer for it too, with a chameleon coming out and things like that. So I just found it to be just kind of a special thing. But BIFAN to me is a special festival where, you know, new cinema, especially Asian cinema, is being rediscovered, and also, you know, let the mainstream people know that it's okay to watch these movies.
So what trends in this year's lineup have you noticed? What should the audience in particular keep an eye on?
One of the things I noticed about all the festivals in the world, you know, they do this thing where they're just kind of celebrate themselves, but, you know, Bucheon's, it's 30 years. So what they did was they went back to a lot of the films that have like they've shown in the past. So there's like something like, you know, 90 Korean films that have already played there to be played again. And then I kind of felt like Bucheon was also sort of positioning themselves to be kind of a futuristic film festival with a lot of AI hyped genres as well. So in this year, there was a section that I want to recommend called Asian Genre of 99. It's a 3-year project mapping the landscape of Asian genre cinema. And then there's another section for French sci-fi, which was kind of really exciting to me. And then there are a lot of films that I want to point out. You know, basically, there's a movie by a director named Kurosawa Kiyoshi, who directed a movie called The Samurai and the Prisoner, and it's being played here for the first time. And then Joko Anwar's bloody prison horror called Ghost in a Cell, not Ghost in a Shell. And then there's a sort of a Chinese movie called Kung Fu, of all things. And what I found really interesting about this year was also the emergence of AI technology. So I believe that Bucheon is the first festival in Korea to have an AI section. And it's AI-generated things, but now they've gone beyond that, where I believe there are many, many films now. We call it kind of hybrid filmmaking, where you utilize live action along with AI. And so it's a kind of a more creative way to use it. And a lot of people thought, you know, AI would kind of come in and destroy creativity, but I think if used right, without having to, like, you know, be doing deep fake stuff, I think if you are able to kind of use it in a hybrid sense, you can kind of take what you have in cinema and enhance it in a way that goes past, like, you know, in the past you had to use a lot of budget for CG and things like this, but AI can actually lower the budget for that. And then one of the sections that I really, you know, it's kind of like overlooked is the shorts section, so fantastic shorts. And I hate to say that 3 of my students have their films in this section. So wow. I'm really excited. Their films are called Intermission, 7 to 70. And so these filmmakers are really excited because it's the first time they've like made these kinds of movies, and then now it's in a major film festival. So looking forward for them to get as much spotlight, you know, in their movies.
Amazing.
You must be very proud. But Professor Soh, let's talk a little bit more about AI. As you mentioned, BIFAN was actually the very first film festival in Korea to introduce a competition section dedicated to AI-generated films. So because genre cinema has always been very embracing experimentation and imagination, do you think that's why, you know, it's a particularly good fit for AI filmmaking? And also, do you think it will change the way in how films are going to be produced in the next years?
Yeah, I think BIFAN definitely has a pulse on it because they were the first ones to have like a competition-based thing for AI. Most of it was short films, but this year they have like over 30 films that are in feature-length mode. And as I was talking before, it's a kind of like a you know, I would say a hybrid version where you're using AI images along with what you shot. But now I think the way BIFAN's looking at it, it's like all aspects of film production, from pre-production, which is screenwriting, to production, where you're using AI technology in the filming process itself. And then, of course, in the post-production process, where you're using a lot of VFX with AI in it. And I think the way BIFAN's technology, what they're looking at is like, we want to exist alongside with machines, you know, instead of machines taking us over. And I think that's a healthy way to look at it. And also, when I teach AI to students, I also tell them, like, don't try to replace what you're doing. And also, you know, there's a brainstorming function in a lot of the ChatGPT things, you know, and I say, you know, brainstorming is a creative process. So brainstorm amongst yourself first, then you can check with AI to see how they react to it. But I think to let a machine take over to do a thing is not a really healthy way to use it in a creative way. But I think AI is like any other tool that has like become an innovative thing. So, when film went from black and white to color or from no sound to sound, I think AI is just another sort of technological leap that we can use to do it creatively. Yeah.
So AI in the film industry is probably a topic that we're going to talk about more in the future. And we did talk about BIFAN extensively, but we do want to mention one movie that's going to come out soon, right, Walter?
Yes, indeed. So, meanwhile, one of the most hottest anticipated films at the moment, or Korean films, is director Na Hong-jin's Hope. Now, it will be finally released in July, it being July now. It's his first feature film in nearly a decade. What should audiences really pay attention to and when they watch the film?
Well, it did really well at Cannes, and it's a creature fantasy movie, but set in kind of like basically in the countryside in Korea. But it has a really stellar cast. It has, Cho In-sung and Hwang Jung-min from the Korean side, and then we have an international cast with Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. So I'm really looking forward to it. But right now, the thing is, like, they're talking about the CG being a little weird, but I think they fixed it.
Right.
And also, it's the biggest budget of a Korean film. So it's like, they're saying it's like close to 50 million, but I think it's like going to be close to $60 million. So it's in scale, it's big. But fortunately, it's already sold over 200 countries, pre-sale. So I think they already made back half their money, which is really fortunate because our Korean film market itself, it's too small to be able to recoup all the money that was put into the movie. And I think Na Hong-jin's another director like Bong Joon-ho, who's very idiosyncratic. He started the movie thing with Chaser, and he really took genre movies to another direction. So this is the first time he's using like basically science fiction elements, and people are really looking forward to it. And I think if Cannes is any indication of that, I think there is a synergy effect, and I think locally in Korea it's going to be a big hit. Yeah.
All right, we're probably going to talk about Hope again as well once it's out, which is going to be July 15th. Can't wait for that. And thank you very much, Professor Soh, for your insights, and have a fantastic weekend because I hear you're actually going to go back to the Fantastic Film Festival.
I'm going to the parties there.
Oh, okay. Have fun partying there,
Thank you.
Professor.
Thank you,
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Walter. As always, have a fantastic weekend as well, and see you next week.
See you next week.